A very warm good afternoon to Payal ma'am, Vandana ma'am, Bhupender sir, all the faculty members and my dear students. I, Soumya Singhal, on behalf of Lloyd Group of Institutions, welcome you all to the seventh and last day of the series of sessions themed on women achievers in India during Durga Navratri 2020. Our speaker for the day is Ms. Payal Khantwal Bhadola, Strategic Programs and Partner Leader, Avaya International. Ms. Payal has been employed in the IT sector for about 17 years. She majors in IT service design and has led multiple high performance teams in the IT vendor management space. She has worked with Sapient, General Electrics, and Western Union in the past and is currently working for Avaya as a strategy partner and programs leader. In her current role, she works in collaboration with the global accounts team to review and recommend strategic investment initiatives in technology for Avaya. Her noteworthy contributions in supporting women leadership initiatives, being mentor to budding women leaders at Cambridge, Avaya International, besides being the founder member of Women Panel at Western Union. She is a prolific traveler, loves to spend time with her family, and enjoys reviewing food cuisines across India and the world. We welcome you, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you, Soumya. Good afternoon, all of you. At the very outset, I would like to thank Professor Dr. Varna Sethi, Group Director, Lloyd Business School, faculty members, students, and the wider audience for having provided me a platform to connect and share my views with all of you. I shall be speaking on the topic, Know Your Value and Negotiate Your Worth. I shall cover this in a storytelling method, picking up certain examples from my own journey and experiences, emphasizing on certain aspects I would want to bring. Before I start, I shall briefly introduce myself. I was born and brought up in Delhi in the family of achievers, with my father being a panel member of board of directors and my mother a perfect homemaker. So to sum it all, the challenges really started early on. I was always expected to excel in school, to be a role model for my younger siblings. On the completion of my graduation, I got married to an army officer in a well-to-do family. It was all perfect again, except I'd always craved for my own identity. I started my career as a software engineer in one of the IT firms, and soon, very soon, had my flavor of the corporate life. The men to women ratio in the industry was approximately 30 to 2 when I started working, which is far more worse than what we have today. The working hours were long, work pressures were immense. However, I sure did enjoy my set of challenges, which included putting extra effort to make my mark time and again, to gain my acceptance and be eligible to work at par with my male counterparts. I distinctly remember I had to forego leading one of the projects, not because I wasn't competent enough, but because there was no woman in the team. And management thought it would not be a fair deal on my part to lead my male peers then. I got an early starter advantage of being nominated for my MBA in information technology as a management program. The company recognized me as a high achiever and wanted me to go on site to Leeds, which is in UK. I was, however, on my family way. I made my choice to let go of the opportunity of career advancement, which I have no regrets today. Soon, I had to make a choice to continue with my job or to join my husband in one of the family stations. Everyone around me persuaded me to take a easier decision, which was obviously to join my husband at his place of postings and enjoy the family life come associated perks of being an army wife. I decided to challenge myself this time, go the other way, follow my head, because I'm a proud and independent woman before. I'm a mother, a wife, or a daughter. I definitely need my identity. I joined one of the firms in Gurgaon this time. The reason behind was basically to balance my professional and personal life so that I could also have my support system around and my young daughter, who was 2 at that time, could be taken care of. Fortunately for my husband, he could just join us for a very short while due to his Delhi posting. He was indeed a great pillar of support to me, sharing all the responsibilities at home, at times more than me, especially at a time when I needed him the most and I was kickstarting my career the second time. My parents indeed supported a lot. I could almost sense everyone around me, including my colleagues in the firm. They all had a notion I would soon quit, stereotyping that with a young daughter, husband in forces. They always thought I had taken the career this time just to pass my time. And I would rarely, be included in any kind of meetings, important discussions going in the company. That was sad. To make my mark, I had to work harder than my male colleagues, male counterparts, be a little assertive, display a very high level of interest, dedication, be consistent. Besides, having an extremely professional conduct to dispel the stereotypic notion and prove I was here to stay. It was difficult for lots of people around me to digest the fact that I was confident and determined. I, on my part, had to overcome resistance from all directions, which challenged me to strive for higher and bigger goals. I had my weak moments lots of times, but with each setback, I would just collect myself and start afresh every time with more zing. My management did appreciate me for my efforts and work, but there were no rewards. There were few of my male peers and seniors who were quite supportive and appreciable of the fact that I was one of them trying to do my job, build my career, make my mark. They time and again mentored and guided me, recommended me for my promotions, progress, and they appreciated my performance. Here I have an important point to make. It is very important to be consistent, determined, and to trust yourself. You can only earn the respect you want only and only when you prove you are worth it. This is no different for a woman than a man. In fact, as a woman, we are inborn with leadership traits like empathy. We are all the time doing multitasking. We have a strong communication, a high emotional quotient. I could just go on with the list. Whereas I was working on the projects that did matter to the company. There was a lot of resistance. Whenever I asked for a raise in position or the salary. I was not even particularly encouraged to take the challenging assignments. Being a woman most of the times, I always got an answer saying I would probably not be able to handle the pressures and escalations from the client. But I would always stand firm, stating my achievements. I would quote the profits and business numbers I made to my seniors and my management. I did switch jobs whenever I thought I was not amongst the right people, or if I had a better perspective outside, and if there was some opportunity which I thought I was aspiring for. I did not want to settle down just for anything which comes my way. I now started weighing my opportunities in the market, started realizing my market value and analyzing it simultaneously. I thought work would be more of a career for me rather than a job now. Takeaway: learn to choose a job which provides you with a career opportunity. Do what you like the most. You end up spending more than 18 hours or 12 hours with your job, at your workplace, with your peers. Do what you like the most. I'm a big advocate of the fact that if you are not valued, even after the hard work and the perseverance, just go ahead, look for greener pastures. Don't get burnt out. Look for the companies that value gender equality. I would not say the companies which prefer female versus male, but yes, the companies should have the strong policies to prevent gender bias, sexual harassment. It's very, very important. It's also very vital to look around, stay connected, build your network with the people who support women empowerment. Always keep a watch out for mentors and sponsors. Connect with like minded people. That's very important. The field of technology changes every day. Learning never stops here. So it's very important to invest in oneself. Always keep a portion of your earnings for your own education. Keep a percentage of your salary, I'll repeat that, to do a course, a certification, or for future education. It might not be a very big thing always, but yeah, it can be as simple as taking a very small course, a very small certification, or going for higher studies, higher education. You can also ask the company for a little financial help you're working with. A little help is always good. This always casts a positive impact on the others around you. They understand, they sense that you're determined to grow and you want to learn more. My take: never stop learning. I do keep taking the certifications. I see Abhishek Mishra. Uh, is there any question from you, Abhishek?
Ma'am, I can ask Abhishek to write his question in the chat box and then I can direct that question to you.
Sure. All right. So I'll continue.
Yes, ma'am.
Basically, I was trying to tell everybody that learning is a process which should never stop. Even when you are in the mid of your career, starting off your career, never stop learning. With me too, I do keep taking certifications, I do keep taking the courses which increase my value to the firm I work for. And obviously, it adds real great value to my career graph. It's very important to keep learning to be seen. I went all the way to Cambridge to do my management because I wanted to pursue my future dreams and my aspirations. And why should something stop me? Or for that matter, why should something stop you? Today, we have highly ambitious and brilliant girls around. But it's a shame. We are in 2020. We still see very less women making it to executive level. It's very rare to see a woman CEO, CFO, or a chief operating officer, or a CIO. In 2019, women held only 8% of management roles, 9% of business roles. Only 2% of CEOs exist in India. India has the third lowest global representation of women managers, just ahead of South Korea and Japan. One of the major reasons? Women are less likely to apply for a higher role if she doesn't meet the complete criteria. We women want to match our qualifications to the published role. 100% match does not exist ever. I shall now take you through a couple of slides where I shall be emphasizing on the aspects of the reasons why we have less women representation at the top management or at the executive level. I will be sharing my screen. Can everybody look at this, is able to visualize the screens?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. If you look at the first slide, the pay gap between the men and the women. Women only earn 17.2% lesser than men. When I say only, it's a huge gap. This gap increases as we go higher up the hierarchy. 55%. The sales and marketing sectors, the gender pay gap is the highest. How do you think women differ in negotiation when it comes to men, women, different ways of negotiations? Do you think women does not negotiate as men do? The answer is yes. Women are very different in negotiations than men. They set very, very less aggressive goals. The opening offers women make are very, very less comparatively to what men do. Men negotiates their offers every year wherever they are due for promotion. Women don't. Why? As women, We have very low personal entitlement than men. We don't like to negotiate. We always fear we'll have a very negative image if we are assertive, if we are aggressive. Look at the results. If you look at the analysis done by Mercer, we have very less executive women, 23%, 29 senior managers, a little more managers, I should say. Women fits into the supporting staff and the professionals, making up to the 42% of professionals and 47% of support staff. These are the figures. I'm just stopping sharing here. After going through these slides, the clear-cut answer is, as women, we always undervalue. We undervalue ourselves. We undersell ourselves. To give you a very small example, there was a survey, a very small survey conducted in a university, in an undergrad, with taking a group of undergraduate students, men and women both. Both men and women students were told to pay themselves for the same position, same work. What do you think the result was? The women themselves paid themselves much lower than men did. Women worries a lot about her assertive image. They always want to please everybody. They don't want to come out as unpleasing. They don't wish to say no. The common thought process will not come out to be pleasing or nice if we say no. I would also say, know your market value. Quote your achievements. You bring a value to the firm you work for. You bring money to the table for the firm you're working for. Why not make people realize your importance? Collect your data. Analyze the financial value you bring to your company. Let them know your solutions do bring benefit to both you and your firm. It has to be a win-win situation for you and your firm. In one of the firms I worked for, refused to give me a pay raise. I had to show them my work, which really saved them a few £1,000 every month. I have my share of fun even today, with new challenges still on while I speak to you today. And I can really go on and on, non-stop on this topic. I also faced, and I still face, a lot of situations where I live with the guilt, not spending too much time with my family. I couldn't attend my child's important functions, PTMs. I couldn't attend a family function or accompany my husband to a social evening. But nobody has it all. It's high time we start pitying ourselves. And I know I can't have it all. My own relatives and lots of acquaintances were really against the fact when I chose to work alone in Delhi with my daughter. And here comes the value of supporting partner. My husband took all the blame. He supported my decisions all the time. I've prioritized my list from my demanding lifestyle, and I've tried to balance it from the perspective of a long term goal always. I've come across lots of things which can wait and which cannot. I would advise check your priorities well, gaze at the consequences, take a decision. That's the point. Do what makes you happy. It's very vital, important for a woman to also live near the people who can take care of the chorus, children in the long run. These people could be your parents in law, your close family, your close friends. Sounds selfish, but yes, it is important. One must respect the fact that we need them as much as they need us. You'll be late from work, you would travel, you'll attend seminars, the late night get togethers at work, and there's so much at home that never stops. And trust me, all of that needs your attention too. You need a strong support system around you. Start building that today. I've worked with lots of firms. Lots of them are women friendly, few of them are not. If given a choice, choose to work for a company which values gender equality. It's because you already have a stage set for success. I really feel happy today when I advise, interact with lots of women colleagues in my teams. I do at times help them choose a right direction. Mentoring my female counterparts in my firm I work for and my university level gives me a lot of insight on the issues the young women face today. Lots of time, I feel quite proud of the fact we have real girls here. They're all to stay. The point is to be strong and support each other. We'll all have weak moments. We'll all have our setbacks. But we all need to be each other's strength in building a healthy and a positive culture. You need to treat everybody with empathy. That's the least we can do. I would hereby finish by saying the true meaning of women empowerment will be achieved when the gender equality will be achieved and the inequality will be eliminated. Equal opportunities to women for equal pay, equal respect, equal to men. We look forward to such a nation and we all need to build it together. Now is the right time always. I'm ready for any questions, Soumya. Soumya, do you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I'm ready to take any questions you have.
Yes, ma'am. So there are a few questions in the chat box. The student is asking, how can we learn the art of saying no being rude to people? Because you mentioned in your PPT that we as women, we are very assertive. So how can we say no to a person?
Okay. That's a real good question. And it takes a lot of time to practice to say no. No does not need to come as a rude comment. You need to say no very politely. If somebody advises you or prompts you to do something and you've got something else in the mind which can be better, you can always say, I do like your thought process. And I'm sure I would have gone ahead with it. But can we also try what comes in my mind right now? Let's try doing it this way. That usually works. So you don't have to just go and say I don't want to do it when I meant say no, but you give a alternate option which you are comfortable with.
Okay, so you are saying that instead of saying no directly, we should come up with other statements that emphasize that we are not in favor of doing it, but it should not come as a no.
Yes, it should not come out as a no, but yeah, give the options which you agree with.
Okay.
Put your point across and just don't say no, I don't want to do it. Say
Mm-hmm.
this looks good, but why don't we do it this way?
Right, ma'am. Ma'am, another question with the student is asking that how can we come out of the guilt of being perfect? Because everybody expects women to be super women. They can do everything, starting from the household work to the office work, and then without getting tired.
Okay. You don't have to be perfect. We are not a superwoman, and that's the point I made across while I was speaking to all of you. I've had my share of setbacks, and obviously, people expected that I should be perfecting all the house job. You can't do it all, and you don't have to be guilty for it because nobody's perfect. You have to very slowly try building your infrastructure, I should say, your support system around you in the office and at home, that people do offer help to you, ask for help, tell them the priorities which you think you wanted to do at that moment. If you got an important meeting to attend, ask your parents, your brother, your husband, or anybody in the close family, saying that this is taking a precedence right now. Why, if you can just offer me your help in doing some house chores or probably picking up the child from office from the school, or probably telling your husband dropping in for the PTM this time and you could fill in next time. So you have to politely tell the people that you have a certain priority in front of you and never be guilty about it. You're as good as any men working for the industry. You have the same work pressure, you have the same deadlines, and you have to prove yourself. So you have to actually not feel guilty, ask for help.
Right, ma'am. So we don't have to be guilt about it.
Not
We
at
should
all.
ask for the help.
Yes.
Ma'am, since you said that you focused on values, you focused on worth. So how can we actually define our worth? That what would be my worth if I'm sitting somewhere? If the students are going to any corporate sector, how can they identify their worth?
Your worth is all the education you carry, your achievements which you've had in university, the learnings you have, the education you have. That's your worth. And whenever you're going for the interview or whenever you're working for a firm, every time the question is raised, what do you do? What value do you bring to the table? Just tell them, this is my education level. These are the numbers I do for you. This is what I can do better. If you are a good communicator, tell them you are a good communicator. You would be able to help them making present. If you're good at making presentations, you can always quote. So first of all, it's very important for individual to analyze and to know what he's good at. Analyze what you're good at. That's the first step. Jot it down, improve on it, see what is the edge you have over others, what you can do better than others, and always try to emphasize and focus on that whenever you go for your interviews, your job change, or whenever you're talking to your management for a next level promotion or any kind of progress. So you need to show whatever all you have, whatever you're carrying with you, your achievements too.
Okay. So, ma'am, can we define worth only in monetary terms? Can't we define it in non-monetary terms?
You can define it in both monetary and non-monetary terms. If you're defining the monetary terms in corporate, that's better understood. That's my experience. But yes, you can always say that if there's a role which requires you to work 24/7, and you can adapt to a certain lifestyle which helps you support the globe at 24/7. That's something different which you have, and you can tell your manager saying, okay, I can always take a global role because I'm flexible to work 24/7. So that's not monetary. I'm still, it's something which you can do which others can't do for that particular role. So you can always speak on these terms also. Or if you are a good communicator, you can say that rather than going for this particular role, or you can always say, I can communicate better than others, or you can prove saying that I'm a better communicator or better at making presentations, better in Excel, and that always helps. All these small things which you are good or better than others would always add value to it. So they can be, the value could be monetary and non-monetary both.
Okay. Ma'am, one student is asking, Harshan, that he has read in books that there has to be a female judge in Supreme Court. Similarly, we have policies related to women CEO, director in a company. So he's asking, ma'am, what is your point of view regarding this? This will help in reducing the violence for women and increase the growth of a company?
It does help to have a woman in the executive or the top level, and it's good there have been laws around it. Uh, but what I advocate, there should be a mix of men and women in the executive panel. It's always healthy when you have equal proportion or representation from both men and women. And obviously, if there are more women, they do understand their women's subordinates more, and their the kind of lifestyle they live, the kind of issues or problems they have. So I think if you have women on the top, they're usually able to connect to the younger lot. So yes, that does help. But I would always advocate you should have equal number of men women. That's a healthy environment.
Okay. Ma'am, can you tell us that so whenever a girl or a woman is working in any corporate sector, sometimes they are asked to work round the clock. They have to work for 12 hours, 15 hours, and sometimes 24 hours a day. In that case, they are not able to give sufficient time to their family. So, how to manage it? How to maintain that work life balance?
It is really important to maintain a work life balance, and I do believe in it. I know there would be times where you would be asked to work round the clock, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm on calls at 1 o'clock in the morning, my time, 12:30, midnight. But I've really made it very clear to my organization most of the time that if I would need a time with my family, which is critical at times. I would not be able to attend the important meetings. Basically, at times you actually also have to prioritize your list of the activities which you have to perform. It's and for me, I would say it's also very important to exert at times, because you are working in IT sector where I work in par with men. You will have to work around the clock at times, but I would say know your priority at that time. Choose what is important, and very politely, again, I would say don't say no, but try to make your superiors understand that you would not be able to take the call this time, or probably travel to a particular place because there is some family engagement at that minute, and probably you know you can always tell them, if there's a next time, I would I would kind of take a lead saying, yeah, I won't want to do it. So give them an option. Uh, at Check your priorities at that time and see what is important. But I think even work does take precedence at times. So I would not say always that you cannot do it. So give it a 50-50% kind of a balance. And that is very important.
True, ma'am. Ma'am, one student is asking, so we had a word regarding how to say no, how to learn the art of saying no. Then we had a question that how can we identify the word? The student is asking that what are the proper words that we can use? We know that we are hardworking, we know that we can contribute a lot to the organization, but they lack that confidence of saying it in front of the management that we are that better. So how can they improvise that thing?
Like I said, when I said say no, I always meant that put your point of view assertively in front of the person who is kind of demanding something from you. So if I have if I'll give you a scenario. If I have an important meeting and somebody says I want to connect at 11:30 p.m. in the evening, my time, because obviously when you're working round the clock in the global organizations, they would just come up and say, this time suits me. You have an important engagement at that time. You can always say, the 11:30 slot looks good to me. Uh, but can we have it a little half an hour earlier? Or can this slot work for tomorrow? I would really appreciate if you help me getting another slot which suits me more. So you have to be a little polite, but assertive. Don't come out as somebody who doesn't want to do it. Come out as somebody who wants to do it, but at his or her own pace. Did I answer the question, Soumya?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, to which I have another question. That suppose I know my worth and I am able to say that in front of my management that this is my worth and I deserve this much amount. To which the management declines. They say no, we will only pay you this much. So what should be the next process? Should I accept the offer letter or should I decline it and look it for some other job?
Okay. So you should just you should just quit, number one. If you're working for a firm and they just tell you, we are not going to give you a raise this time because company's not done well, maybe the team is not done well, you should always have your data of the contributions which you've made throughout the year, the numbers which you've done for the firm, whatever value you've added for them to bring the business. They could be the efforts in the days, reducing the efforts in the days, or the financial aspects, whatever. Have that data ready. Give it a big shot. Go to your manager. Try to convince him. If he doesn't agree, try going to a higher level manager. If he doesn't agree, Put your point across very strongly. Tell them this is what you're worth, this is what you're worthy, and this is what, and you would not settle down for lesser. And to be very honest, if nobody agrees to you, if I was in the situation, I would not waste my time getting burnt out, working from the same for the same firm. I would just collect myself, try to apply for a firm where I'm valued more.
Okay. Ma'am, Smriti is asking what women should do when they are looked down upon by their male counterpart at workplace.
This is a very, very common scenario, and as women in corporates or IT or technology, this often happens with us. And you would have your moments where people would just not involve you in anything important, and it's like, okay, it's fine. We don't want you to be a part of this important meeting, and we would come and brief you. That would happen lots of times. You should always be very assertive. Try to speak to those people 101. I'm not saying just, blast them in front of 10 people, but put a 101 connect with them. Tell them that you're here to work, the kind of work you want to do, the kind of qualifications you have, and try to make them understand very politely that you too are here to make your career. Do your job like them, and just leave it up to there. Don't feel bad about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ma'am, thank you for answering this question. Poonam is asking that how can we feel self-empowered?
Self empowerment is again well connected to the education level you have. Once you have your education, once you have your qualifications, once you're doing well, you'll automatically feel self empowered. It doesn't come from anywhere outside. You have to be confident. You have to know you have it all. Always tell yourself, this is what I achieved, and I want to aspire for more. I'm not going to stop here. I'm putting in the kind of efforts that everybody is, and I'm not here to quit. And have the kind of confidence in yourself. Always prepare yourself for the next role you're looking at. You might be working as a manager, you're looking at a senior manager's role. See what it takes to go there. You might have to do a certain course or certification, you might have to go for education. Don't hesitate. You should have the confidence in yourself to have the self empowerment or have your self esteem up. It is not going to be given to you, it's not going to be coming from outside. It has to come from within you. So trust yourself. You're the best. Always tell yourself.
Ma'am, meanwhile, Kriti ma'am puts up the question. Would you like to put some light on your job role that you do with Avaya International?
I work with Avaya International, uh, doing the strategic programs for them. Strategic programs are basically the strategic accounts which bring value to the table, money to the table for the company. I do interact with lots of partners. We have our own solutions in the company. We at times integrate those solutions and make our custom softwares for which we would need vendors, we would need partnerships, and I usually interact with the area in and around globally for the entire firm, so that the projects and the programs could run successfully. So when I say strategic programs, these are the programs critical to the company because they are the ones which add financial value to them.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, Kriti ma'am is asking that how can we differentiate between actual value and perceived value?
Mm, value of oneself, or which which value are you?
Value of oneself.
And who's perceiving this value? It's you or others around?
The others around are perceiving some value about us, and we have created a mindset about ourselves that this is our value.
So it's I would again say you have your value, and there's something which others perceive. If you think what others perceive about you is not equivalent to the actual value you get or the actual value you have to be your advocate. You have to make them match to the actual value you bring on. You have to speak up for yourself. See that you are seen in the crowd. So it is our sole responsibility to make a perception about us, not let people perceive the way they want to see us. So own your value. This is what I'll say.
Okay. Ma'am, if you permit, can I take this last question?
Sure.
Ma'am, what is the difference between value and worth?
Worth is something I should. So if you ask me grammatically, worth is something which you can create for yourself, and value is something which comes up with you, and you can always go and say, okay, this is the value I bring. And obviously, worth is created by the kind of education, the kind of experience level, the kind of interactions you have. And then you can collect it and say, okay, this is what I'm worth it. If there's a senior position in the company, I get this kind of value to the company. And then it's because I get this kind of value, I'm worth the position I'm applying for. I hope the difference is clear when we give
Yes,
an example.
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can I take up this last question by Professor Kajal?
Sure.
Ma'am, she wants to ask what to do when your self-worth conflicts with other more specific outwardly commitments, especially when this difference builds on the one's inwardly personality and outwardly expectations.
There'll be different kind of people expecting different kind of outputs from you. What I do in such cases is I know myself. I would not hurt somebody who's expecting a different output from me, but obviously that should not be conflicting with my own self-interest at that time. Is that the is that what you're looking? Is that the right answer, or have I understood the question clearly?
Yes, ma'am. She's saying that she has understood, and thank you for answering this question.
Thanks, Sonia.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for delivering such a wonderful session. Students have really enjoyed this session and it has actually helped them. So, whenever they'll go to any organization, because these are all graduates and postgraduate students, and soon they'll be applying in any company. So, this will definitely going to help them in future. Thank you so much for such a wonderful session.
I would really like to thank each of you listening to me with so much of patience, though. And I'm really happy if I could ever make a little difference.